Rebuilding a passion that never saw a highway. How many more miles would you bear, my friend? Like a jab to the throat, surrealism silenced the voice, but what is left to say? Well, it turns out we had a lot more left to say. Welcome back to part 2 of our Setlist Extravaganza, and this is I Remember Now, the Queensryche podcast.
I remember now.
So as we were planning this topic, we started talking about other setlist stuff, because there's been a lot of setlist chatter in the metal world lately, because another pretty popular band, we could call them that, called Iron Maiden, has started their next tour, the Run for Your Lives tour, started over in Budapest, Hungary, I believe, making its way through Europe and then eventually going to get to the U.S. So that set list dropped and caused quite a stir online, because I think Bruce Dickinson, as he sometimes does, may have oversold what they were doing. He, I believe, did a video where he said they were going to do some things that they had never done before, which everybody was all geeked up about that, because especially with like the last tour they did, they busted out, like, much to my chagrin, Alexander the Great, a song I can't stand, but they did that. I know it was in demand from the Iron Maiden fans. They finally threw it into a set. So I think people were expecting something like that, and then when the set list was released, it didn't happen, and people were a little pissy about this set list. But I tell you what, dude, as I look at this, and we're going to talk about what changes would we make to it, but it's damn near perfect for an Iron Maiden set list.
Is it?
Yeah. Oh my God, dude. I think it appeals to kind of what we were talking about. It appeals to like the hardcore fans, because there's songs on here that they don't do very often. It appeals to the hits people. It appeals to the classic era, obviously, because the tour concept, for those of you that don't know, is they're doing songs only from their debut album through Fear of the Dark. So prior to Bruce leaving the band and then coming back a couple records later. So they're doing nothing after Fear of the Dark. So just to run down the list real quick, they're opening with Ides of March instrumental, which I'm assuming is probably a track. I haven't watched it, but it's a track.
It's
so
a
they're
track.
not actually playing it. Then they're going into Murders in the Rue Morgue from Killers. Then Wrathchild, also from Killers. Then they're doing Killers from Killers. So 3 right out of the gate from the Killers album. Then Phantom of the Opera from the debut. Then Number of the Beast. The Clairvoyant from Seventh Son. Power Slave, 2 Minutes to Midnight, Rime of the Ancient Mariner. So freaking 3 just powerhouse tracks in a row from Power Slave. Then they go to Run to the Hills, which you knew was going to be in it based on the title of the tour. Then they do Seventh Son of a Seventh Son, kind of the epic tune in this set. The Trooper, Hallowed Be Thy Name, closing the set with Iron Maiden. Then the encores, Aces High, Fear of the Dark, Wasted Years. So, Steve, what criticisms do you have of this set list? Because I can't wait to hear what they are.
Okay. Bruce pulled a Gene Simmons, overhyped it. I was like, oh my God, like we're gonna see some stuff. There's nothing on this set list that they haven't done before.
Right.
And actually, the beginning of Murders in the Rue Morgue is also a track, that slow part, and then we get the like that, the drum part. That's where it starts, the actual live portion of the show. I've watched probably 3/4 of the show. I like the set list. I would leave there a happy person for sure. But I was disappointed that they didn't do stuff that they've never done before. They totally skipped No Prayer for the Dying album. Some people may think good. Let me just look real quick. There's only 2 songs on this set list that I have not seen them perform live, and that would be Killers and that would be Murders in the Rue Morgue. I think it's very cool how they did, because usually you get Power Slave, then you get Rime of the Ancient Mariner, but you get Power Slave, then you get 2 Minutes to Midnight, then Rime of the Ancient Mariner, which I think is cool. Then Run to the Hills, then another epic song. I like how they did that. It's to do
I
Seventh
forgot
Son.
Rime of the Ancient Mariner. That's a long epic song too.
Yeah.
I didn't mention that.
Yeah,
Right.
I like that they did that, and you get the usual suspects at the end of the show. I think Aces High is a cool track to come out with for an encore. I think it's very cool. I like that's a song, like, I don't know if that's in the middle of a set. I don't think it really works. I don't think it works at all if it's in the middle of a set, because like once Live After Death came out, you're like, I can't hear this song live without the Churchill intro. So you can't really put that in the middle of a set. You know what I mean? Like it would just be like, what are you doing? It would just be wonky.
I didn't like it at the end of a set either. They closed the what was the Legacy of the Beast? At least the leg I saw. They closed that show with Aces High, which I thought was weird.
It didn't fit great.
It was just weird. Like it just, and again, it goes back to those memories of when you hear Live After Death. Like that's the opening song. Like this song should open a set, be it the main set or the encore set. Like it just does not make sense to me being at the end or like you said in the middle. Like it's just it's an wonky opening song.
It is. It's just like it doesn't feel good. Like I said, like all these other songs I've seen live at one point or another. They've played them in the last 10 years live, with the exception of Killers and Murders in the Rue Morgue, essentially, because they did Seventh Son of a Seventh Son a couple tours ago. I like it. Like I said, I would be a happy camper there, but Ray and I tasked ourselves with coming up with an alternate set list of what we would like to. I don't know. I put down what I would like to see. I did mine kind of that. I took Bruce at his word that that you're going to see some stuff that you haven't seen unless you were in one of the clubs or in Tokyo in 1981. As a matter of fact, so I love this stuff. I love talking set lists and making up your own and saying do this, do that.
The thing that I like about this set list. And again, I would like to hear some deeper cuts that they've never played before. But there's not we're going to get into it. But I can't pick what to cut off of this list. You know what I mean? Because every song that's on this list I want to hear, with the exception of like maybe one. But like you're looking at, like to me, Phantom of the Opera is like 1,000 times far and away the best song on the debut album, which I think is one of their weaker albums in the entire catalog. So they picked the best song on there. Fucking Killers, Wrathchild, and Rue Morgue, for me, without a doubt, the top 3 songs on that album. So they picked the best songs on that album. So I don't need to hear anything deeper because you're playing the best, And again, just my opinion. Same thing with Number of the Beast. They're playing the title track. They're playing Hallowed. It's like they picked like the best of the best, I think. And I think that's why I love this set list so much. And I'm not as much of a deep cut guy. I mean, I love Maiden's my second favorite, between Queensryche, Maiden, and Kiss. Queensryche's number 1, Maiden and Kiss flip-flop, depending on what kind of mood I'm in. But that's always been my big 3 since I was a teenager. I could hear Maiden play any song from any of those early albums and I'd be happy. And honestly, they could play just about any song from the later era as well, and I'd be happy. But to me, this set list is just, it's as good as it gets, you know. But could you tweak it? Sure. And we're going to talk about that next. So, Steve, what would you tweak?
Okay. I didn't tweak. I overhauled.
Oh, boy. Okay.
I kept 6 songs from the original set list.
Holy shit.
I even changed the intro.
Oh, my God.
So
I didn't realize that was the assignment.
Well, you know I always go the extra step, especially when it comes to stuff
You are an overachiever.
Like so they always do Doctor at the beginning, which I'm like, I'm over that, by the way. So instead of doing that, and then you get because like you get the rockiness of Doctor, and then they go for the Ides of March. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. So instead of that, the intro music is going to be Transylvania. So then we're busting out right off the bat into Invaders. From Number of the Beast. I've always loved that song. I think it gets a lot of shit, and I think it's just the invader. I think that's why it gets shit. But I mean, like, set ablaze the campfires, then alert the other man. It's just a great up-tempo song. I think it's great. I don't know if they've even ever played it live, truthfully. But
I don't think they have.
I'm holding Bruce to his word. But then we go to Killers. I think that's a great song. And then we're doing a little 1-2 punch of title tracks. Number of the Beast goes into Number of the Beast after Killers.
I left alone. My mind was blank. I needed time to think, to get the memories from my mind. What did I see? Can I believe that what I saw that night was real and not just fantasy? Just what I saw in my old dreams were the reflections of my Walkman staring back at me. 'Cause in my dreams, it's always there, the evil face that twists my mind and brings me to despair.
Then we go to the much maligned No Prayer for the Dying album. Get a little tail gunner, get a little World War II aerial stuff there that Bruce always likes to do and stuff.
Trace your way back 50 years to the glow of Dresden's blood and tears. In the black above by the cruel searchlight, men will die and men will fight. Who shot who and who fought first? Dripping death to wet the bloodthirst. No radar lock on skin and bone. Mama boys are going home. Climb into the sky and never wonder why. Tail gunner, you're a tail gunner. Climb into the sky and never wonder why. Tail gunner, you're a tail gunner. Climb into the sky and never wonder why. Tail gunner, you're a tail gunner.
And then we go to the song that got me like really into Maiden, Remember Tomorrow.
Unchain the colors before my eyes. Yesterday's sorrows, tomorrow's white lies. Scan the horizon, the clouds take me higher. I shall return from out our blue.
Kind of gives you a little breathing room there, slows it down, but then you get that very powerful beginning. Then the tempo ramps up in it there. Then we keep the momentum going. Trooper.
You'll take my life, but I'll take yours too. You fire musket, but I'll run you through. So when you're waiting for the next attack, you better stand, there's no turning back. The bugle sounds, the charge begins. But on this battlefield, no one wins. The smell of ice and smoke and a horse's breath as they plunge on into sudden death.
And then I would be on anyone's probably naughty step for putting this song in next. I have to see Iron Maiden perform Holy Smoke.
Believe in me, I said no money. I died on a cross. That ain't funny. But my so-called friends, they're making me a joke. They missed out what I said like I never spoke. They choose what they want to hear. Don't tell a lie, they just leave out the truth. As they're watching you die, they're saving the souls by taking your money. Flies around shit, bees around honey. Holy smoke, planted back bridges for the devil to stoke. Beat 'em in feet first, this is no joke. This is thirsty work, making holy smoke.
That song gets shit
why
on
would that? Why?
constant.
I like
People
that song.
shit on that song like you wouldn't believe. I think it's
When you
fun.
say people, are you talking about Uncle Steve?
Perhaps, or other, but I've heard it get shit on from other people too. I think it's a fun song. There's not, like Maiden's great, but there's not a lot of fun Maiden songs. You know what I mean? But this is a fun one, like kind of tongue in cheek. Great song though. The soloing in it is fantastic. I love the video for it when Bruce is at the end. He's in the sunflower field. He's like, ah, at the end.
That's a great song. I love that song.
So I actually recreated that picture. We did a couple years ago. We did like there's an orchard by us, and they have a sunflower festival or something like that. So I made sure I went in the middle of the field and spread my arms out like that. Made my wife take a picture. Just the nerd that I am. So then we go back to the Killers album after that, doing a little bit of Innocent Exile that's on Made in Japan.
The second album also. This is one of my favourite songs anyway. A song called Innocent Exile.
One of my early favorite Maiden songs. Then we go to this song. I don't think I've ever seen this one live, but I think it's really good. Kind of a really kind of forgotten, sort of epic Maiden track, "Afraid to Shoot Strangers." I knew they were doing it pretty heavily when it was out and around, and I know there's a live video of them interspersed with the Gulf War stuff with Blaze Bayley. But I think it's really good. Watch that video, check it out, because it's the way that is edited is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, it's a great song.
Then we go to Peace of Mind, Die With Your Boots On. Haven't done that in a long time. Always a favorite of mine. Then we get the opening track from Fear the Dark, Be Quick or Be Dead. I always thought just a great high-paced, high-energy song that is really good. Back to the first album, I have to see Phantom of the Opera. I have to see it.
love you now, you won't get away from my grace. Even if so long and hiding behind that false face.
Always a favorite of mine. I remember listening when it was on, I don't know, it was like King Biscuit Flower Hour or something like that, when they played the Palladium in 1980. This was one of the songs that I was like, wow, like, and it was the first time I ever heard it live. Absolutely killer version of it. Hallowed Be Thy Name comes in, so we're kind of getting towards the end of the set.
I'm waiting in my cold cell when the bell begins to chime, reflecting on my past life, and it doesn't have much time. 'Cause at 5 o'clock they take me to the gallows pole. The sands of time for me are running
And then they kind of throw a little surprise in there, which I wasn't going to do this, but because they went heavily on Somewhere in Time album for the last tour, but I always wanted to see Sea of Madness live.
out in the street, somebody's crying. Out in the night, the fires burn. Maybe tonight, somebody's crying. Reach the point of no return. Oh, my eyes they see, but I can't believe. Oh, my heart is heavy as I turn my back to leave. Lightning and lavender, flying so high on wings above. When all is deep and only bring you sadness. Like a river we will flow, on towards the sea we go. When all you do can only bring you sadness. Out of the sea of madness.
I think it's a great deep track that people would lose their shit, myself included, to see them play that. And then we end the set proper with, of course, Iron Maiden.
Would you come into my room? I wanna show you all my wares. I just want to see your blood. I just want to stand next there. See the blood begin to flow as it falls upon the floor. I made a candy fall. I made a candy soul. I will, wherever you are. I made us gonna get you, no matter how far. Super Bowl, watching it share up above my head. I made us watch you again.
Gotta have that. There's some gotta haves. That's a gotta have for me. But then, like, they go off, crowds chant Maiden, Maiden, Maiden. And then they come out with the song that started it all, Prowler. I've seen a couple videos of them doing this back in the, early 2000s at like some of those like Sweden Rocks or Rock AM tours and stuff like that. And it went over fantastic. Then I zip into the Seventh Son album, The Evil That Men Do. Great song, great up-tempo song. I think it's a really good song towards the end of the set. And then I end the set with Fear of the Dark.
Dark road at night or strolling through the park. When the light begins to change, I sometimes feel a little strange, a little anxious when it's dark. Fear of the dark, fear of the dark. I have a constant fear that something's always near. Fear of the dark, fear of the dark. I have a phobia.
Absolutely love that. I don't know if you've seen any, I don't think you said you didn't see any of the videos for this, Ray. Just, if you go to YouTube, put in Iron Maiden 2025 Fear of the Dark. Wait till you see it. It is so cool how they did this live. It is. I was like,
yeah, I think I want to wait.
What the hell is that?
Because I saw
you're
some
gonna be waiting a year.
I know. I saw some of the just snips of the videos, like with the big screen they have behind them, which is a brilliant idea, by the way. Like I saw the power slide. I was like, holy shit! It just looks so epic. I kind of want to wait to see it live. Like I want to hear the music and hear how everything sounds, but I don't want to see the visuals. Because I did that on the Legacy of the Beast tour. And I watched the majority of it. And I'm not going to say it ruined the show, but I knew it was coming. And it wasn't there was nothing that blew me away because I'd already seen it. Even though visually it was stunning, like the Flight of Icarus inflatable thing behind them and the big giant Eddie that came out during, I want to say, was it Number of the Beast or Iron Maiden? I forget, the big, huge devil looking one.
Yeah.
It was incredible to see live, but it was kind of spoiled, I guess, for lack of a better word, because I'd already seen it. So I'm really trying hard not to watch full parts of that show. I'm just watching little bits and pieces. So I just don't want it to be ruined. Yeah, you went deep, dude. That's That's
I had to do
now
it.
again a huge Maiden. Feel like I'd be okay with that set list. No, I wouldn't. I'd be disappointed. Who am I kidding? A lot of my favorite songs aren't on that list, but it's a great set list. I mean, there's not a bad song on that list. Innocent Exile, okay. Prowler, I can do it. It's okay. The one song, and again, I didn't do this in my tweak of the set list, but like the one song I could do without, literally do is Iron Maiden. Like enough.
I know. I know.
But you know they're not going to ever not play that because they've played it every show ever. I believe it's the only song in the catalog they've played on every set list. But I could really do without it at this point. I could pick 30 songs from that era that I'd rather hear over Iron Maiden, but. It's like what we always talk about on Asylum, like when you're there and Kiss plays Rock and Roll All Night, like your fucking hands in the air and confetti's falling down and you're singing at the top of your lungs. And it's the same thing for Maiden, you know, whenever they do that song, it's, I couldn't be more into it, you know, but if I'm making a list, like I could totally replace it with something else. So, but no, I think a lot of the stuff on your list is good. I know the biggest criticism of the list was that there was nothing from No Prayer. I'm okay-ish with that. Like I think you should represent every album on this tour since you kind of said that's what you were doing. If you're going to skip one, that's probably the one I'm going to skip. But Tail Gunner's a cool tune. Playing that instead of Aces High, you know, as your airplane song in this set, that'd be okay with me. Holy Smoke is also great. I like Hooks and You, too. I know that song
Hooks
gets a
and You
lot
is
of
good.
shit.
That was on my short list.
Such a fun, like, up-tempo, very different kind of Maiden song. Got some cowbell. Yeah. You just don't hear that much in Maiden tunes, but that'd be another fun one. So I didn't do nearly what you did, Steve. I didn't put the work into this one like you did. I just kind of looked at it and said, there's a couple changes I would make, but I would just mine are more tweaks as opposed to blowing it up and starting over again. One of the things that I did think, I didn't put this on my final list, but I would love them to open with Be Quick or Be Dead. I think that'd be a great opening tune. Just because it's unexpected. It's from one of those later albums. It's not, a fan favorite. But such a great opening tune. But I kind of kept the opening the same with Ides of March. The thing I don't understand is why are you doing Ides of March and then going into Murders in the Rue Morgue and then doing Wrathchild after it, which is essentially Ides of March is the intro to Wrathchild. So why are you doing it just to be different maybe? So I would flip those. I would open with Wrathchild and then put Murders in the Rue Morgue second or third, I guess. I'm cool with Killers. I'm cool with Phantom of the Opera. I love Number of the Beast. The Clairvoyant is the one song in this list that I could do without. It's not a bad song. I like it, but it's just it's a little dull, I think. So I would like to see something else in that spot.
Like most of Seventh Son.
Oh, shut up. That's a great aspect. One of my favorite Maiden albums. So I would take the Clairvoyant out, and I would insert another Seventh Son song, and that song would be Moonchild. Because I think that song is just so killer. Again, it's another one that works better as an opener, but you've already got your openers here. You could maybe open the encore set with it and not do Aces High.
You don't have to do the 7 deadly sins, 7 ways to...
No, but you got to do the beginning, the keyboard part.
The keyboard part would be cool, yeah. You could segue that in somewhere, though.
Yeah, I think you could. So I would put Moonchild there instead of the Clairvoyant. I'm not changing Power Slave, 2 Minutes, or Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner, dude. Those are 3 of my all-time favorite Maiden songs. If they're on a set list, I would never pull one of them out. Run to the Hills, classic. Come on, you have to leave that in there. It's the tour's called the Run for Your Life tour. You got to play the song that has that lyric in it. Seventh Son, I love it, but I could maybe swap that out for something. Not sure what. I don't know if I want something else off that album or maybe something more from Peace of Mind, which is a little underrepresented in this set list, I think. Maybe do Still Life. Maybe Die With Your Boots On, I like that. Even Flight of Icarus, that's another song I can't get enough of live. It's fantastic live. So yeah, Seventh Son is a maybe. I'm fine if it's there, but I could take it out. The Trooper to me it's a staple. It has to be there. But if it was me writing the set list, I could live without hearing the Trooper because I've heard it so many times over the years. Still Life is my favorite song on Peace of Mind. I would love to replace that with the Trooper. The only other change I would really make is I would take Hallowed Be Thy Name from the 14 spot. I would move it to the end. I would put Wasted Years where Hallowed Be Thy Name is on the main set. I don't like Wasted Years as a closing song either. I've done it a couple of times over the years. I don't think it works well as a closer. I like it like leading into the end of the main set. You do Wasted Years and you end with Iron Maiden, come back with Aces High, Fear of the Dark, and then end with Hallowed Be Thy Name, which I think is a phenomenal closing track for a show. So, yeah, overall, dude, I'm like super happy with this set list. I hope they don't change it. If they do, I hope they make one of the changes I said, but they won't. I'd be totally happy seeing it as it is in Europe right now, coming to the U.S. But yeah, I would go to your show too, man, for sure. That beats the hell out of the last tour they did. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, mine's pretty much just like a fantasy list for me. Like, I know that never in a million years they would do like Holy Smoke and Tail Gunner again, and I was kind of really disappointed. I figured they would have did Remember Tomorrow. I think that would have been a one that I think that they could have really shocked people with by doing that.
Did Bruce say something about like he didn't want to do that song because it's kind of like Paul Di'Anno's like signature song, like even though it wasn't like a hit, but like that's a song that
they've played it before with him.
Have they? I don't remember ever hearing that.
Yeah, I want to say
it's on live albums.
It's on the Live Dead one, I think.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. That's just one of those songs that to me, like that's a Paul Di'Anno song and should stay that way. But that's one of the few, believe me.
Yeah,
I would much rather hear Bruce sing most of these songs.
It's on a real
dead one.
Yeah, it's like the fifth track.
Go back
but I don't think they did it a lot. But I think it'd be cool. Yeah, like I said, mine's just pretty much a fantasy one because a couple songs that I have on there they've done on tours that I haven't seen. So
yeah,
But so I mean, like I said, you're never gonna see "Be Quick or Be Dead" again. Which that was your opening track, which I thought that would be. Was that no? That wasn't your opening track, but you had it in your set list. Though.
Well, yeah, I think what I would do is I would open with "Be Quick or Be Dead," and then I would do "Ides of March" and go into Wrathchild after that. Like if I was making like my dream set list, I would take out Seventh Son. I figure if I take out Seventh Son, you can add 2 songs to the set, right?
Yeah.
So I would take out. Seventh Son, I'm taking out the Clairvoyant. I'm adding Moonchild where the Clairvoyant would be. Seventh Son, we'll just say it's gone from where it was. I'm adding Be Quick or Be Dead at the beginning. And then where Seventh Son appears in the set list, I would put something from No Prayer, probably one of the ones you picked, either Tail Gunner or Holy Smoke, just to represent all the albums. So, yeah, I think that'd be my final list. So I would do Be Quick or Be Dead, Ides of March, Wrathchild, Murders in the Rue Morgue, Killers, Phantom of the Opera, Number of the Beast, Moonchild, Power Slave, 2 Minutes to Midnight, Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner, Run to the Hills. Then we'll say Tail Gunner or Holy Smoke. You can switch them out depending on what night it is.
Yeah.
I would do Still Life instead of The Trooper. And then I would do Wasted Years, Iron Maiden. And then it would be Aces High, Fear of the Dark, Hallowed Be Thy Name to end the night. So that'd be the changes I would make. But no, I can't wait to see that show, man. That's what it boils down to is I love Iron Maiden. I did skip their last tour because I am not a huge fan of Senjutsu. I didn't need to see a lot of those songs again that they did on the second leg of the Legacy of the Beast tour. I'm not a huge fan of some of the Somewhere in Time songs that they did. So and their tickets are so fucking expensive, dude. Like I want good seats if I'm going to see Maiden. I was not paying $400 or $500 a seat to go see that. I just couldn't bring myself to do it. Even though I know it was great. I saw the videos. It looked really good. I'm sure I would have had a good time had I gone. I just couldn't justify spending that much money for a set list I really didn't have any interest in.
Where are you seeing $400 and $500 tickets? Like we were on the floor
Pittsburgh.
And it was. I don't think it was even $200 for being on the floor.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, for the seats I was looking at where I wanted to be, it was like $400 or $500.
Oh, really? And we had an amazing time. We rocked the fuck out at that show.
Yeah. All right, so I think we've beaten the Iron Maiden set list to death now, as many other podcasts have recently. But we wanted to take some time and talk about that because it's such an important band in the music that we all love. So that was another really fun exercise. So the other things that we talked about doing for this episode, since we were talking set lists, is go back and pick the 3 best set lists you've ever seen in your concert going life. So I picked my 3, Steve picked 3. I've actually got 5 or 6, but I think I finally got it narrowed down to 3. One of the things I took into consideration, because one of the ones I eliminated was a band that only at the time had 4 albums at the time. There was not a ton of material to pick from, so it's easier to put together a killer set list when you've got less material. So the bands I've picked all have at least more than 5 albums, I believe, for these set lists. So, Steve, what's your first one? What's the first best set list you've ever seen? Are these in any type of order?
Actually, yeah. Like favorite ever. I don't know if I want to go that far, but mine is like a combination of 2 tours because there's a little fluctuation between the 2 of them with just like some newer songs. My first one is, which sad to say was the first time I ever saw Kiss, 1990. It was June 22nd, 1990 at the Broome County Arena. We were not right on the rail, but we were maybe like 3 people back from the stage. This was when, Kiss came back for me. Hot in the Shade album, like I kind of fell off during Asylum, Crazy Nights a little bit, but for some reason, like Hot in the Shade brought me back. And so this was the first time I got to see these guys. So I Stole Your Love, Deuce, Heaven's on Fire, Crazy Crazy Nights, Black Diamond in the middle of the set, which was really weird. Shout It Out Loud, Strutter, Calling Dr. Love, I Was Made for Loving You. Rise to It was still in the set. They ended up dropping that later on. Fits Like a Glove, Lick It Up, God of Thunder. God of Thunder was cool because they had the Leon Spinks.
The Sphinx, yeah. Sang
and
the
the
third
mouth
verse.
opened up and sang the thing that was with the lasers. That was very cool. Then Forever, which is not Record Dribble, Tim, by the way, which Forever was my wedding song. So always enjoyed that one. Bruce's acoustic solo in that is just absolutely stellar. Hide Your Heart, Cold Gin, Tears Are Falling, I Love It Loud, Love Gun, Detroit Rock City. Then they came back with I Want You, and then they had the Kiss sign for the first time in the show for I Want You, and then they did Rock and Roll All Night. So that was great for me. So the next show I have is the next year, same arena. This was October 2nd, 1992. Kiss Revenge Tour. Opened up with Creatures of the Night, Deuce, I Just Wanna, Unholy, Parasite, cool to see that. Heaven's on Fire, Christian 16, Domino, Watching You, Hotter Than Hell, Firehouse, I Want You, drum solo, which was cool because I'm not a big drum solo person, but I got to see Eric Carr before he passed away do his with the electronic shit that he does. That I think was actually pretty cool. Then Forever, once again my wedding song. War Machine, then Rock and Roll All Night, which Rock and Roll All Night was like
right in the middle. It was great.
In the middle. You got it out of the way. I wouldn't mind if they did it first, just to say goodbye. Then Lick It Up, Take It Off. The Strippers came out, which was very cool too. Cold Gin, Tears Are Falling, I Love It Loud. Detroit Rock City ended the set proper, and they came back out, Shout It Out Loud. A song that I hate was next, God Gave Rock and Roll to You. Terrible, terrible fucking song. And then they pretty much ended with Love Gun, which was weird, cool but weird. And then like Star Spangled Banner was playing on your way out, but like 26 songs, 22 songs in the Hot in the Shade tour, and essentially 25 songs in the 24 if you get rid of the drum solo. Which one good thing about that too was that there were no guitar solos. There was no Paul dividing the crowd up and, yelling back and forth and shit that you get on the Animalize and stuff. But they were my first 2 Kiss shows, and it's weird because I had been going to concerts since 1983, and I didn't get to see them until 1990. Every time they played somewhere, something was always going on where I couldn't go. The one year, I want to say it was these... Maybe I think it was Animalize tour, and it was one of the very few shows that Mark St. John played in Binghamton. We had a talent show at my school, and me and my 2 buddies did a band, and we played. So I couldn't go to that show because of that, and it was just a mishmash of errors that I just never got to see them until 1990. But they were my first 2. And then just, I have like 3 more set out here. So I'm just going to throw this one out there because it's a show that I was really fortunate to see. It wasn't one that I hadn't planned on going to. One of my buddies had tickets for this show. He couldn't go. He asked me if I wanted to go. And actually, he had 2 tickets to go. Him and his one buddy couldn't go, so these other 2 friends were going. And it was for Dio at the Spectrum on the Last in Line tour.
We're a ship without a score, cold without the war, lying inside the darkness that it needs you. We're a laugh without a tear, hope without the fear. We are coming.
And it ended up being a video live special from the Spectrum.
Yeah.
So short set list when I looked at this, but like there's songs that they do like kind of medleys and stuff. Open Up with Stand Up and Shout, One Night in the City, Don't Talk to Strangers, Mystery, Egypt, the Heaven, the Chains Are On, which like I'm sure you've seen it, the stage theme was like the Last in Line album, like the Egyptian kind of thing. When the show opened, like there was a big pyramid, but they lifted off and the drums were underneath. So then there was a drum solo, which, Heaven and Hell. There was a guitar solo during that one. Then they went into Last in Line, and then Heaven and Hell Reprise came back after that. Then they did Rainbow in the Dark. Then they did a mix of Man on the Silver Mountain and Long Live Rock and Roll. This is the original Dio band. Vivian Campbell, Jimmy Bain, and Vinny Appice. Then they went off, came back on with Mob Rules, and they ended up the show with We Rock. So that one is a show that's just embedded in my mind. And the cool thing is, too, we just did actually the episode that came out this week, I talked about this show. And, like, they played the show on the radio when we were going home. So it was cool that we got to see it and then got to listen to it on the way home. And then, come to find out, like, a couple of months later, boom, this comes out on VHS, like the video. I was at this show, you know what I mean? It's always cool when you're at a show that was recorded for a live album or something crazy happened, stuff like that. So that was a very early, memorable one. And one more that I just want to mention is David Lee Roth for the Eat 'Em and Smile tour. January 21st, 1987, Binghamton Arena. And this was the first time that I ever even heard of or saw Tesla. Andy Taylor from Duran Duran was supposed to be the opening act, and he wasn't for some reason, and Tesla opened up for them. They played Coming At You Live, very first thing. I was hooked as a Tesla fan from those first couple notes with the back and forth soloing. David Lee Roth set, which was an odd opener. They did Shy Boy, then Tobacco Road, 2 cover songs opening up right away, which was odd. But from the album though, then Unchained, Panama, Greg Bissonette drum solo, Pretty Woman, which I could never hear again. I would be happy. Elephant Gun, Ladies Night in Buffalo, Everybody Wants Some, On Fire, Bump and Grind, Ice Cream Man, Big Trouble, Yankee Rose. They did a dual guitar and bass solo, Steve Vai and Billy Sheehan. Killer, absolutely killer.
Yeah, I remember that.
Ain't Talking About Love. Then they did Going Crazy, went off, came back with Jump and California Girls. Just always, and that is my ultimate all-time favorite concert, is that David Lee Roth show. I can still see that like I went yesterday. So that's what I got.
Yeah, that's awesome. That was a great tour. I saw them with Cinderella was the opening band whenever I saw Eat 'Em and Smile tour.
I'm trying to think who opened up.
It should have been, we said it was Tesla.
It was Tesla, yeah. Duh. It was.
Yeah.
I forget who opened
Yeah, it was
up the
Cinderella
next
for
tour.
me. But yeah, that was a great show. I remember being so excited to see David Lee Roth. I saw Van Halen on the '84 tour.
I did too.
That was the only time I saw the original Van Halen lineup. So I
Me
was
too.
super psyched to see David Lee Roth again. Plus with the the hype around his band and everything, and they delivered. Man, the stage was freaking ridiculously massive and awesome, and sounded great. Band was incredibly good. And Cinderella, that was probably the fourth time I'd seen them at that point, because they were open. They were kind of like, they became Accept. We always joke on Asylum that Accept
Yep.
opened for everybody in the 80s. Then later on, it became Cinderella. They opened for Bon Jovi, like on a 2 or 3 night stint at the arena in Pittsburgh. They opened for Rat, was it? I forget. They had a couple open. Plus, then they did their headline tour for Long Cold Winter. So I'd seen Cinderella a lot at that point, but I think they were still on Night Songs tour at that point. I don't think Long Cold Winter had come out yet. I might be wrong. I don't know the dates exactly, but I've seen Cinderella a ton. So yeah, those are good. Those are good ones, man. And actually, my number one set list, if I'm ranking these 1 through 3, it is the same as the first one you mentioned. It's the Kiss Hot in the Shade tour. What was the date on yours? Mine was June 23rd, 90. I think you were either day before or day after me.
Let's see. I actually saw that tour twice. The first one was June 22nd in Binghamton, and then I saw them again on the 27th in Allentown.
Okay, so the 23rd night after you saw them, I saw them at what at the time was called the Coca-Cola Star Lake Pavilion or something like that. It was the Shed show in Pittsburgh. It was the first year that it was open. We didn't have one of those in Pittsburgh until that year, so this was the first show I'd ever seen there. I'll never forget, I was in college at the time, and they announced the show. Didn't think I was going to be able to go because I was away, and then something came up, and I was able to go. So I had some friends of mine who already had tickets. I went online and they were like way in the back of the pavilion. I found a single ticket in like the 7th row. There was one seat available, and I bought that. So I was probably 50 rows in front of my friends who had bought tickets the day they went on sale. So I was by myself. We went together, but during the show I was by myself. So
Yeah, both our shows were general admission.
oh, really? Yeah,
Yep.
these were all reserved. So yeah, the very similar set list to the one you saw. The only difference was Hide Your Heart was in a different position. Mine was I Stole Your Love, Deuce, Heaven's on Fire, Crazy Crazy Nights, Black Diamond, Shout It Out Loud, Strutter, Calling Dr. Love. I Was Made for Loving You, which that was the first time I'd ever heard that song live, and it was like a game. It was so good, like
Way better.
Yeah, it's just so much heavier, and you totally lose the whole disco vibe of it, which I like the original too. I mean, I always have, but
Yeah, I don't
it's
mind
just
it.
such a great live song. Then they did Rise to It, Fits Like a Glove, and then Hide Your Heart, Lick It Up, God of Thunder, Forever, Cold Gin, Tears Are Falling, I Love It Loud, Love Gun, Detroit Rock City. And then, yeah, I remember the Sphinx, and then the Sphinx went away. The Kiss sign came up for the encores, and everybody lost their freaking mind. They did I Want You and Rock and Roll All Night. So that was, if I had to pick one of the best set lists I've ever seen, or the best, that's probably it. And unlike you, Steve, I had been to a lot of all the tours actually in the non-makeup era. So my first hard rock concert was the Lick It Up tour with Accept as the opening band, of course. And the set list was okay. It wasn't what I would have written. They didn't play hardly anything from the makeup era. It was very Lick It Up heavy, which, I get it. They're starting their new era. Then the Animalized tour was kind of similar. They did a lot of non-makeup stuff, sprinkled in a few classics here and there. They just, throughout that period in the 80s, they didn't do a lot of the classic era stuff. They're doing exactly the opposite of what Queensryche's doing, that we were just being critical of them. But back then, I wanted to hear those old makeup songs.
Right.
I had never seen them during the makeup era.
A lot of soloing in that era too.
Oh God, yeah, it was ridiculous.
everyone had a
Gene
solo.
doing bass solos and
Yeah.
Paul doing his little rhythm guitar. So it was too much. But then when they hit the stage with "I Stole Your Love" that night, it was like, I don't know that I've ever lost my shit more than I did at that moment when they opened with that, and then they went
I
into
agree.
Deuce. It was just like, oh my God. And then they just picked kind of the best of some of the non-makeup hits. They did Fits Like a Glove, which was always phenomenal live. It was just a perfect Kiss set list, at that moment in time. It was exactly what I wanted to see. So yeah, I'm totally with you there. Another one that I picked out, November 21st, 1991. Pittsburgh Civic Arena. I remember exactly where my seats were. The old Civic Arena in Pittsburgh used to have a balcony that overhung like the opposite end of the arena from the stage, just like one big balcony. I was in the first row, dead center on the balcony, and the seats were freaking amazing. And that was for the Wherever We May Roam tour when Metallica was touring the Black Album. It was like an evening with Metallica. There was no opener, which was awesome. It was just them, and they played forever. And it was just an incredible set list. So getting back to like something we mentioned before, like opening your show with a hit. How about Enter Sandman as your opening song?
Wow.
So they opened the show with Enter Sandman. Then they did Creeping Death, Harvester of Sorrow from Justice for All, Welcome Home Sanitarium from Master, then Sad But True, Wherever I May Roam, and bass solo, of course, which they did snippets of My Friend of Misery and Orion in that bass solo. Then they did Through the Never, The Unforgiven. Then they did, I'll remember this, just killer medley of Injustice for All songs. They did Eye of the Beholder, Blackened, Frayed Ends of Sanity, and Injustice for All, like probably a minute and a half of each one, maybe 2 minutes of each one, but it was like a 10-minute medley of Injustice for All songs. Then there was a drum solo, guitar solo. Then they did The Four Horsemen from Kill 'Em All, which I had never heard live up to that point. For Whom the Bell Tolls, Fade to Black, and then Whiplash ended the main set. And don't worry, we're not done yet. There was 3 encore sets. So Whiplash ended the first set. They came back. The first encore was Master of Puppets and then Seek and Destroy. They left again, came back, did One to open encore number 2. Then they did the Misfits Last Caress cover that they did on the 598 Garage Days EP. Then the one that made me almost fall over the balcony because I couldn't believe they were playing it live because I was headbanging so hard was Am I Evil, which I'd never heard them do. And then they did Am I Evil. Then they closed that encore set with Battery. And then they went off one more time, came back, and then they closed the show with the Stone Cold Crazy Queen cover that I believe did they win a Grammy for that back then? I know they were nominated for.
I know they were at least nominated.
Yeah, it was a big deal back at that time, so that was a cool way to end the show. So that was like at that point in time when this was before we got Load and Reload and Saint Anger and all the bullshit. This was Metallica at their best, at the height of their power, playing a set list that I couldn't make a change to make it better if I tried. I mean, I thought it was phenomenal. It was long. I want to say it was close to a 3-hour show. I mean, they just blew the fucking roof off the place, and they were so incredibly good. And they're also at the end of the arena in a normal stage setup, which I much prefer to being in the round. I don't like the in the round shit that they do now. I know the new stadium thing is pretty epic from the videos I've seen, but like last time I saw them at the arena, they were in the round, and it just, to me, it takes away some of the energy of the show because all that energy and sound isn't coming from one place. They're kind of all over the place on the stage. So it was a phenomenal concert, like one of the best I've ever seen. That's
crazy. And I've seen Metallica once. I think it was like 2017. They were just another band that I just never was able to sync up with whenever they played around here. But that's crazy. That's talk about giving your fans what they want. And I absolutely love the evening with. I wish more
100%.
Bands would do that. I know Metallica now, they're doing the Pantera and they do Einstein Kills and Wolfgang Van Halen and Limp Bizkit. But I would much rather an evening with. Rush used to do that. Absolutely loved it. And I think Iron Maiden would be a perfect band to do that
Yes.
too. You know, I do not want to see
100%.
fucking Raven Age ever again. Like, seemed like they opened up for like 6 tours, but great set list. I mean, like I said, talk about giving the fans what they want. Holy shit!
Isn't that Raven Age? Is that Steve Harris's kids band?
Yeah, I think so.
that's
There's
why.
some relation there.
Yeah.
They're okay,
Yeah,
but
no,
I mean,
dude,
ugh.
That Metallica set was as good as it got. I've never left a concert happier, than I did that night. I just remember it was just, I'd seen them before. I saw them on that Monsters of Rock tour in '88, which was good, but it was a stadium show and we were a million miles away, and it was the middle of the day and it was 1,000 degrees, and like they were good, but like it wasn't like an intimate experience. And this was a big arena show, but like the way that balcony overhung, like it was just such a great view. You're still kind of far away, but it was just absolute perfect view of the stage, and they just crushed it from the minute they hit the stage until the end. And just, I can still see it and hear it like it was yesterday. I mean, really, really just amazing show. And then the third one I have, and I don't have any idea your thoughts on this band, Steve. They've come up a little bit. Actually, you mentioned one of their songs earlier. But another one of my favorite non-hard rock metal band, without question, is The Police. And saw them twice. Saw them on the Ghost in the Machine tour, which was actually my very first concert I ever went to. Was Bow Wow Wow was the opening band, and The Police. And then this show, which was August 8th, 1983, which was The Police and the Go-Go's opened up for them, which was phenomenal. Back in, I think 83 as a young 13-year-old.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, I was 12. I wouldn't turn 13 for another 8 days, but getting to see the Go-Go's live was pretty freaking epic. And then, my favorite all-around band at that time was The Police. So it was just an incredible night. And the set list, there's one glaring omission, but I'll talk about that at the end, but the rest of the set list is incredible. So they opened with Voices Inside My Head, which was kind of their standard opening tune back then. Usually lights were out, they would just play it because it's a different type of tune. I think it's on Zenyatta Mandata. Just kind of gets the crowd hyped, as they're playing. There's really not a lot to it. So then once they get through that, the lights always, you get the explosion. The first tour I saw, they went into Message in a Bottle. This time they went into Synchronicity 1, which was, I guess, technically the opening song where you could actually see the band on stage. And then they did Synchronicity 2 right behind it, the proper version, not the shitty Queensryche version. Then they did Walking in Your Footsteps from Synchronicity, then Message in a Bottle, Demolition Man from Ghost in the Machine, Oh My God from Synchronicity, Da Do 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 Da 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 from Zenyatta Mandata, Wrapped Around Your Finger, Tea in the Sahara from Synchronicity, Spirits in the Material World, Hole in My Life, which was, I forget, is that the first album, maybe the second one, Deeper Cut, Invisible Sun, which is top 3 favorite Police songs from Ghost in the Machine, One World Not Three, another great Ghost in the Machine song, King of Pain, Every Breath You Take, which at the time there was not a bigger song in the world than Every Breath You Take, so that just brought the freaking house down. Murder by Numbers, Don't Stand So Close to Me, and then the closing tune for the main set was Roxanne. Then they did the encore. The encore was Can't Stand Losing You from the first album, and then Regatta de Blanc, which is kind of like a instrumental closing that they did. Phenomenal set, phenomenal show. Another band at the height of their power, even though they were imploding internally at the time and wouldn't last much longer. But in terms of performance and talent and popularity, they were just on top of the world. And the glaring omission, they did not play probably my favorite Police song of all. And if Tim always makes fun of me because he says I have 100 top 10 songs of all time, but If I was truly making a list of my top 10 or 20 songs of all time, Every Little Thing She Does Is Magic by the Police would absolutely be on that list somewhere, at least top 20. I don't know where it would fall, but that's just one of my all-time favorite tunes. Didn't play it, though, for whatever. Saw it the first tour when they did Ghost in the Machine, but didn't do it on this one. So that was the only disappointment that I had that night, but the rest of that show was just phenomenal. So what do you like? Do you like the Police, Steve? Any thoughts on them?
I don't know. It's the term's used all the time, but I'm pretty much a hits guy for them. I think I knew like maybe 7 songs of all the ones you mentioned there. Like I own Synchronicity, and I own like the greatest hits.
Okay.
That's my only reference for those guys. The songs that I like from them, I really like, because even on the greatest hits, there were a couple songs I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, but I do like them. I like Sting's voice, and I like I don't know, is it Blue Turtle? Is that his one solo
Dream of
album?
Blue Turtles.
Yeah.
That's good.
I like stuff on that, but I'm just not a fan. But I do. I mean, I would go see them for sure. Yeah. Their tickets are probably outrageous. Are they? No, they're done now, right? They're done again.
Yeah, they've been done. They did a reunion tour. I don't even know how many years ago, but it was astronomically priced back then. I couldn't imagine what it would be now, but just musician wise, like I've always, like you said, loved Sting's voice. Stuart Copeland is one of my top 2 favorite drummers of all time. Just watching him play and just the intricate stuff that he does, his hi-hat work and his, it's one of the things that broke up the band was he just wanted to do so much behind the drum kit that it would piss Sting off, because he just wanted him to play it straight, and he just wouldn't do it. He's like, fuck you, I'm doing what I want to do. And it's one of the things that was always a point of contention for them, but just a phenomenal drummer. And it's weird because, like, I'm not a huge pop music guy. I can't stand reggae, and I can't stand ska. And the Police are like a blended up version of those 3 things.
They mesh it.
3 things that I don't really care a whole lot for, and I fucking love it. It's like perfect. It's never made any sense, because I like when ska first came out, you'd think, you're a Police fan, you'd be into all that stuff with the horns. It wasn't my thing. Reggae to me, it's okay, but it just seems like it's the same shit over and over again. But yeah, they combine those 3 things into just a perfect mix, and I've always just to this day they're my favorite non-metal band. If I was listing my 5 favorite bands of all time, it would be Queensryche, Maiden, Kiss, Van Halen, and then the Police would absolutely round out my top 5 of all time. So
cool.
So yeah, those are my 3. I had some other ones. Another one that I just won't run through the whole list, but honorable mention, I had Guns N' Roses on Use Your Illusion. The stadium tour they did with Metallica, that show in Pittsburgh, the set list was phenomenal. But yeah, you really had 3 albums and like a half of a side of another album, so it's kind of hard not to put together a great set list when you've only got 4 albums, and one of which is perfect. So I didn't include that one. There's a couple other ones, like the Judas Priest Fuel for Life, which is was the Turbo tour that they did, the Priest live album. That set list was phenomenal, even better than what appears on the Priest live album. There was a couple tunes they left off. That would have been another honorable mention. So, do you have any other ones that you wanted to just call out?
Yeah, I had. I saw Triumph in 1986. Yngwie opened up for them before Yngwie was the ridiculous Yngwie that he is right now. I really enjoyed that show. First and only time I ever got to see them. That was the first tour that they had another guitar player on stage for that tour, and I remember Rick Emmett was doing an acoustic Midsummer's Night Dream, I think it's called. Really nice little acoustic piece of music, and someone threw a fucking bottle and hit the guitar. He lost his shit. I mean, rightfully so. I was like, holy shit, I can't believe someone did that. And but that was a really, really good show. I enjoyed that. And they only did like 13 songs, but like that was like the first show that you've ever seen. Well, I can't say it's the first show that I've ever seen lasers, but one of the first shows and bands that were using a lot of lasers, and their light shows were always great. That was an absolute fantastic show for me. And then one other one was I'm a massive, massive Joe Bonamassa fan. and March of 2019 was the first time I got to see him. Dylan and I went. I think I took him. I think it was his birthday present, and we were blown away by his musicmanship, his band, just absolutely killer. If you're a guitar fan and you go see him, he's just absolutely phenomenal. Great interaction with the crowd. Doesn't do a lot of talking, but just really, really good show. So if you ever get to see them, Joe Bonamassa, you won't be sorry if you do. And I would love to see, because the Black Country Communion, two of my favorites, Joe Bonamassa and Glenn Hughes, perfect combination. Love those guys. So, but Joe Bonamassa, I just wanted to bring him up, was one of the great ones. And he can play anything, because I've seen him twice. And I think maybe he interspersed like maybe 2 songs that he played in each of the shows, and they were like 4 years apart. But you don't even know, because it's just so phenomenal.
I couldn't name a Joe Bonamassa song if you put a gun to my head and threatened to pull the trigger if I didn't name a song. I know the name. I know nothing. I've never heard a song. I don't know anything about him other than that you're a big fan.
Check him out.
Is it like instrumental, or is it like...
No.
Okay.
It's like
I can't deal with instrumental stuff.
A lot of it's like heavy blues, like, but just like songs with like his vocals are great, very kind of soulful at times. He gets like even like the mellower stuff is good, like, but he like some of the stuff is really like heavier than you think it would be. Maybe I'll send you a little playlist.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
All right.
I'm just not a big instrumental guy. Like listen to like Joe Satriani. Like I would rather listen to freaking nothing.
It's not that at all.
It's too much. Okay, cool.
Maybe people think that.
Yeah, that's what I always thought it was. I thought he was just like a guitar guy. I didn't realize that he actually had like real songs and vocals and stuff. Not that instrumentals aren't real songs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Full songs. All right, and we've been going on a lot longer than I thought we would about this, so let's wrap this up real quick. We had one last topic on our Setlist Extravaganza conversation, and that is, what is the best Queensryche set list you've ever seen? So, Steve, you want to go first on that one?
Yeah. November 1st, 2003, was on the Tribe Tour, and I actually have, it's in one of my albums, and I got the set list from the soundboard from it. And it was at the Staircase Lounge in Piston, Pennsylvania. BC and I went. They opened up with Tribe, Sign of the Times, Hit the Black, NM156, Screaming in Digital, Open, IMI, Damaged. Love to see them 2 in a row. Losing Myself, Desert Dance. Then they did an little acoustic set. They did Rhythm of Hope, Roads to Madness, Silent Lucidity. And that was cool. Then the amazing Della Brown, Take Hold of the Flame, Breaking the Silence, I Don't Believe in Love, Needle Lies, The Thin Line, Jet City Woman, Walk in the Shadows, and they went off, came back with Empire and did Best I Can. Killer show. Killer show.
I saw that tour, I want to say 3 times, because they played in Pittsburgh, they played in Erie, and I saw them somewhere else on that tour. But I remember I saw the Tribe tour like more times than I saw any other tour. Maybe Cleveland. I thought Tribe was a terrible opening song, but other than that, the show was phenomenal. Like it was a great
They could have buried
show.
that a little bit.
Yeah, they could have just not done it because we'll get into that some other day. But I don't hate it, but it's a weird song for a live environment, especially. But no, that's a great example. I had 2. I'm going to try to narrow it. I have the Building Empires tour is my favorite show I've ever been to, of all the concerts I've ever seen. However, I wouldn't say the set list is the best, because it was all Operation Mindcrime in the middle with a couple things sandwiched around it, which is great, but I like more of a full catalog type show for a set list. So July 5th, 1995, Road to the Promised Land tour. It was so long and there were so many songs. I think they did every song on Promised Land. I'll run it down real quick. IMI, Damaged, Bridge, Screaming in Digital, NM156, My Global Mind, New A Regale, I Remember Now, Anarchy X, Revolution Calling, Operation Mindcrime, Spreading the Disease, The Mission, I Don't Believe in Love. Thank you for playing all those in order. Waiting for 22, My Empty Room. Then they did Real World, which was fucking phenomenal. Blew me away. I couldn't believe they were playing that song. Eyes of a Stranger. then Empire, Promised Land, Jet City Woman, Disconnected, Lady Jane, Out of Mind, One More Time closed the main set, which was they weird closers on this one, but One More Time closed that main set. Then the encore was Silent Lucidity, Take Hold of the Flame, and then they closed the overall show with Someone Else, the piano version, which was a very strange ending, but it was amazing. Just great set list. The other one, and I couldn't pick between these two, so you pick. This one, I'm a huge fan of Q2K, as we'll learn down the road. But March 17th, St. Patrick's Day, 2000 at Metropole, which was a great club in Pittsburgh where all the formerly arena bands played when they came back in the 2000s. But a great venue. They opened with Revolution Calling, Speak, and they did Falling Down, Damaged, Empire, Liquid Sky, Spreading the Disease, Electric Requiem, Right Side of My Mind, When the Rain Comes, Breaking the Silence, I Don't Believe in Love, Jet City Woman, Sacred Ground, Breakdown, Walk in the Shadows, Silent Lucidity, Needle Lies, Eyes of a Stranger, and Burning Man. So if I got to pick one, I'm probably going to take that one because even though I love Promised Land, I really dug those Q2K songs live, and they did Walk in the Shadows, which they did not do on the Promised Land tour. And we know the rule of this show, Steve, is don't ever do a Queensryche set without that song in it. So if I had to pick one over the other, I'd probably pick that one. But of those two, which one would you prefer, do you think? I know you saw the one. Did you see the Q2K?
I didn't see the Q2K one. They didn't come right around here for that one. But I did see the Promised Land one, and for the bar scene, I have two friends that were on the stage for that. But I would probably go with the Q2K show just because of those extra songs and of course Walk in the Shadows. But I mean, both are absolutely phenomenal. And because I was gonna choose the Promised Land set list, but I kind of figured you would put that there. But like the reason I picked mine is because I have the physical set list from that show, and I thought it was absolutely fantastic.
That's a great list too.
Yeah. Yeah, so I would probably go with the Q2K show just because, like, of the songs that you'll probably never see again.
Yeah, I was also that show just had such a special place in my heart too because we were front row, right between like where Kelly Gray was and where Jeff Tate was, center stage, with Michael off to our left, Eddie kind of back and forth, and just. I remember slapping hands with all of them, and Kelly Gray giving me like a handful of picks, which I still have a few of them.
Cool.
He just kind of slapped my hand and laid like 6 picks in my hand. Just losing my mind the entire time. When you're that close, it's just, you really
so
feel
different.
the interaction with the band. Yeah. And, I'm a fairly large man. I'm 6'9". So when I'm in the front row, you fucking know it. Especially when you're at a club like that, I'm like, my head is like at their waist level, where they're at. Yeah. So, it was just a phenomenal show. And, I'd probably pick that one too. If I had to choose one, that'd probably be the one. So that concludes our set list extravaganza. So that was fun. I thought this would be like an hour-long episode, but good luck, Tim. I'm not sure how you're going to splice audio into this one, but we will leave that to your producer wizardry, and I'm sure it'll sound great whenever it's all done. So any final closing thoughts, Steve, before we get out of here?
Yeah, always fun doing the show, regardless of what the topic is. But I especially love talking about live music. As far as I'm concerned, it didn't seem like it's as long as it is, and like this episode literally could have been 6 hours long, and I would still be talking about this show and that show. So I think we did good because it's amazing. Like, it goes so quick because like we'd be like 5 feet from where I'm at, like out on my porch talking, shooting the shit like BC and BB. We record in this room, then we go out there, have a couple of beers, and then it's like midnight, 12:30, and you're like, holy shit, we were out here for like fucking 4 hours.
3/4 kicked in the ass, and the night's over.
Yeah. So
you're going to be hungover the next morning.
We pretty much everyone goes home when the beer's gone. It goes by so quick. But love live music, love talking live sets and stuff like that. I could do 18 episodes like this, and just appreciate everybody for listening, for interacting with us. Like we said before, if you want to get in on the ranking of the classic Queensryche era songs, hit our email. Ray's going to give it to you in a couple minutes. And everyone stay safe out there. Have a great summer. And get out there, do yourself a favor, just throw on a Queensryche album from any era that you have not listened to in a while, and just give it a listen, front to back. You'll be happy for it. So everyone, thank you, appreciate it.
And then, much to Tim's chagrin, to give you a little sneak peek of what's coming, we are currently working on the ranking of all of the new era of Queensryche songs for our next show series. So that one's a little more difficult because, like, as you always say, Steve, these songs aren't really in our DNA. You know,
Nope.
they're newer. Those other ones we've known forever, and it's a tougher exercise, but it's going to be just as fun. Of course, there's less songs, so it's not going to be as long. But looking forward to getting that going too. We're still a ways away from that. I haven't even finished my my ranking list yet. But yeah, thanks everybody for checking us out, for hanging out with us as always. Hope you enjoyed this discussion. We we're normally doing album reviews, or we're doing other stuff that's more directly tied to, something or other with the band. But this was just kind of more of a hypothetical discussion and then just general discussion around set lists. So we sure had fun. I hope you did too. So you've been listening to I Remember Now, the Queensryche podcast. We're available on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, or wherever you get your podcasts. Please subscribe to the show. Leave us a review or a rating on whatever platform you use. You can now actually comment on Spotify too, by the way, if you didn't know that. If you listen on Spotify, you can leave your comments right there. So it's another way you can get in touch with us. We're a proud member of the TLD Podcast Network. The TLD Network hosts a variety of shows, including the flagship show, Tim's Baby, The Less Desirables, Wheeler's Dog. If you haven't ever listened to Wheeler's Dog, you should check it out. Our good friend Eugene B. Sims hosts that and does a really funny show. It's usually about a half hour long, just general life observations. He's quite the character, so check him out. Also, Beeswax Vinyl Daily is Tim's daily show that he does, where he talks about kind of that date in vinyl album history. The Asylum podcast, which we've talked about a lot. My other show with Tim, Gary, and Marvin. Fan Interference, Health Geeks Book Club, Twin City Talk, and many more. Please check out the other shows in the network wherever you get your podcasts, or you can find them at tldpodnetwork.com. Should also plug Potter Than Hell. You can listen to Steve every week. Episodes dropping on Fridays. Potter Than Hell with his crew, BC, BB, Dylan, and whoever else they have on there. Talk about all things hard rock and metal, and just always a lot of fun. I listen almost every week. Every once in a while, you guys do something. I'm like, yeah, I'll listen to the beginning and hear like what you're listening to and all that, but I just can't, depending on what some of the things are. But 99% of your shows I listen to. If you'd like to be a part of our show, please give us a call on the TLD Network hotline, 336-422-6862. That's 336-422-6862. You can leave a message on this show, past shows, or anything else that you'd like to give your feedback on. You can also record a voice note, send us an MP3, whatever, to feedback@IRememberNowPodcast.com. You can also find us on our website, same thing, IRememberNowPodcast.com, and we're on social media. Facebook, we're all over the place. On X, we're at I Remember Now Pod. I have an Instagram account, but I have not done anything with it since I started it. I don't really know how to use Instagram because I'm old. But anyway, you can find us if you want. You can also email the show, as we said, feedback@IRememberNowPodcast.com. We love getting your feedback on this episode, any other episode we've done, episode ideas, whatever you got for us, please let us know. Until next time, my name is Ray.
And this is Steve.
And thank you again for listening to I Remember Now, the Queensryche podcast, and we'll be back at you soon.
Have a great life till we see you again, all of you. Thank